I would love for you to share how you feel the breath is connected to the I am state and how this can help us return to our true essence. Like you said, as love is a biological function of our true self, to reveal that.
Well, the breath is such an important component because, the breath delivers the nourishment, sustenance we need to function in every inhale and exhale. I've said before, but it's so important to think of it like this, is that when we breathe shallowly, we tend to identify with the most shallow ideas of ourselves, or we are hiding from the shallowness we haven't faced. When we breathe shallowly, we tend to be drawn to the most shallow decisions, or we get mixed up with people, and the theme of shallowness makes us victims to other people's behavior. When we breathe deeply, we start to think deeply. We start to see deeply into ourselves. We start to feel deeper into experiences. We start to have deeper insights about the experiences of our past, even when we felt like victims of other people's cruelty and shallowness. So when we breathe deeper, and really what we're doing is we're bringing more awareness. The breath is always sustaining us. The breath is the life force of our source, of divinity. But when we breathe deeper, we're saying, I want to give more attention to that which is sustaining me. I want to give more attention to the divine, because if the divine is sustaining me through the breath, then only the divine is receiving the breath it's giving. So when I am aware of how I'm being sustained by the divine, I tend to be less sustained by the promises of other people. I become less sustained by the conflicts that I say I don't want to be in, that I'm secretly fed by, because it gives me so many things to process. When we're aware of the breath, we're saying, I will be in this world without having to be lost in the identification of this world. And I become more aware of the fact that I'm here representing divinity on a mission to bring more of that divine essence to the world. And even through the law of one, when I breathe deeply, I plant seeds of awareness in the hearts of everyone around me. And then they pass it on to everyone they know. And so it goes throughout the entire world. When I breathe deeply, I'm teaching the world to take deeper breaths and have greater awareness. And so, and the breath is an interesting thing, because the breath is also what survives all of our degrees of spiritual nonsense, where I go, if I breathe deeply, here's the reward I'm going to get. And the breath just goes in and goes out. And so the breath is always one with the divine. And the more we build a relationship with our breath, the more the relationship with our breath becomes reflective of the relationships we have with ourselves and other people around us. And so I think it's very interesting that when we look at the conflicts people have in relationships, the same conflicts people have with other people are the same they have with their breath. If there's avoidance with others, there's an avoidance of the breath. If there's depth with others, there's a depth of breath. And even when you are in the presence of your beloved and their beauty takes your breath away, you just took a deep breath. Or when you're in the awe and wonder of nature, it takes your breath away. And that's a deepening of breath. What's also interesting is when we look at traumas when you were surprisingly or unsuspectedly victimized by people, that took your breath away as a moment of disempowerment. So a lot of people spiritually tend to lean on the insight and the excitement of the realization, and they stay away from the breath work because it reminds them of the times in their life when someone took their breath away. We have to go back to that original moment and repattern it viscerally by saying, I may have had my breath taken away in a moment of unexpected trauma, but I'm going to give that breath and power back to myself and take that trauma and hand it back to the divine. And may it heal itself in me, and may what I heal in myself heal in other people through the breath I take in deeply. May I be a bigger and better receiver of divinity, and may that divinity that I breathe in be breathed out for the liberation of all. So I think it's very interesting to notice that a deep breath can cleanse you, but our earliest memory of a deep breath is when someone took our power away. So we have to kind of give ourselves course corrective experiences. And so everything we can learn about spirituality in this whole journey of redemption can occur through the breath. And even at the point where all the wisdom that you've gathered from the universe and built up a spiritual ego, even when that disappears and you can't actually remember anything you've learned up to this point, the breath still remains. And so as a fundamental returning to the breath, I will always teach people to love themselves. And what I'm actually doing is helping to dissolve the barriers that reunite people with the intimacy of their breath. That's the true intention of why I teach self-love.